And welcome back to Katie's Favorite Recipes. Today I'm going to be showing you all how to make a no-bake orange creamsicle cheesecake. This recipe is awesome. It's easy to put together, it tastes amazing, and it's really pretty. This will be perfect to have at home, to take to a cookout. This is something I definitely am going to be making again. We loved it, so I think you all will too. I'm going to put everything down in the description below, but for right now, let's go ahead and go over everything together. Here I am crushing up my graham crackers. This is 2 cups of graham cracker crumbs, which was about a sleeve and a half to 2 sleeves. You can put these in the food processor, you can mash them, whatever you want to do. And then we're going to do a 1/4 cup of light brown sugar, 1 stick of unsalted butter. And we melted that and we're just pouring it into the mixing bowl. We're going to mix that up really well. And we made sure our graham cracker crumbs were really fine and crushed up really well. And once we finish all of that, we're going to put this in our greased springform pan. And we are just going to mash it down really well and spread it out evenly. I just used the back of a spoon. You can use your hands, you can use the bottom of a glass, whatever you have on hand to just mash it down real good. And just spread it out evenly. And after you finish doing this, you'll want to freeze this in the freezer for 30 minutes just to make it easier to layer your cheesecake stuff on it. So while that's chilling, we're going to get our orange zest off of our orange. I'm just grating the peel of this, and I just did the whole orange pretty much until all of the zest was gone. And we're just going to go all the way around it and get it all off. And then we're going to take our 3/4 cup of boiling water and add our 3 ounces box of gelatin mix, the orange flavor. Really, it's just a small box. And then we're going to add our orange zest to that, and we are just going to mix it up really well. We want to make sure that it's as smooth as possible. Now, you want this to cool for about 15 to 20 minutes, but you also don't want to let the jell-O set up. So what happened with mine was, I was short a package of cream cheese, so while my jell-O mixture was cooling, I had to run to the store and get a second package. So my jell-O was pretty much already cool when I realized, so that added extra time and my jell-O kind of set up just a little bit. But it really was not a big deal. So once this starts to cool, and we're going to move on to our cheesecake layers. So that would be our 2 packs of cream cheese, our white sugar, which is 3/4 a cup, and then our vanilla. We're going to do a teaspoon in this mixture, and we're just going to cream that together really well until it's smooth and soft and fluffy. We want to make sure it's all mixed up really well together. And then after we finish mixing that up, we are going to scrape that out of the bowl and set it aside for right now. And then we're going to move on and do our 16 ounces of heavy whipping cream. And after we make sure we get all of that out of the measuring cup, we are going to do our 1/2 cup of confectioner sugar. And then our other teaspoon of vanilla extract. And once we do that, we're going to mix this up really well until it gets really stiff and starts making stiff peaks. So you want to turn your mixer up for this and mix, mix, mix. And just keep on mixing it until it's good and stiff peaked. You'll notice the difference in texture by the way it looks. It should look something like that. And then we are going to take half of that and mix it into our jell-O mix. And then we're going to take the other half and mix it into that first cream mixture that we did and set aside. That had the cream cheese in it, the white sugar and the vanilla. But we're just going to fold these mixtures into this stuff. We want it to be good and smooth, but mine, like I said, the jell-O set up just a little bit on mine, so it had just little pieces of jell-O in it, but it really was not a big deal at all. It just didn't look as smooth as it could have. Alright, so now that we've got that folded into that, we're going to fold the other half into this cream mixture that we had set aside earlier. And we're just going to make sure that it looks good and folded into it. I know it's all white, but just you can tell in the differences of textures whether it's mixed in or not all the way. So after we finish doing all of that, we're going to start layering our cheesecake. So this is where we're going to get our crust out of the freezer, and we are going to start layering the cheesecake. We're going to start with the white layer first. And this is why you want your crust to be cold, so when you start spreading around this thick white layer, it does not pull the crust up with it. Because the crust is very fine and powdery, so it will just be a mess if you don't let it chill first. But we're just going to work this thick layer over the crust really well. Now remember, we're just doing half of this white layer that we just folded together, because we're going to do the white cheesecake layer, and then the orange layer, and then the white layer again, and then the orange layer on top. So we're just going to smooth this out really well, and then take half of our orange cheesecake layer and smooth that out. This is going to be a difference in consistency. So this one will be easier and a little runnier just to smooth over. And then whenever you smooth that over and spread it out, and then you go back to the white layer, just be careful that it don't pull it up. I mean, really, it's not a big deal. It's not going to matter. But when you cut it, if you want to see the even layers, then you'll need to smooth the white layer over top of this orange layer a little easier. So we're just, see, I pulled some of my white layer up just a little bit, but it's not a big deal. Now we're using the rest of our white cheesecake filling and putting that on top of this. And we're just going to smooth that over into a nice even layer. So after we put the rest of that on there, you've got to be just a little bit careful if you want it to be even looking when you cut it and see the middle of the slice. And after you do that, you're going to top this off with your orange layer. And then after that, that's really it. You're going to put it in the refrigerator and cover it and let it set up overnight. If you put it in the freezer, it's not going to be really soft and creamy when you cut it and eat into it to speed up the process. So I couldn't wait overnight though, because I was so excited. So what I did was I put it in the freezer for just a little while, and then I took it out and put it in the refrigerator. I didn't leave it in the freezer long, maybe 30 minutes. And then I put it in the refrigerator for several hours. But this cheesecake was amazing. We loved it. I'm definitely making this again. But we're going to cover it with saran wrap like I said, and then just throw it in the refrigerator to cool and to let everything set up really well. This is what it's going to look like whenever it's finished. And we're just going to pull that off and easily lift the spring and gently pull the springform pan apart so we don't rip the cheesecake. But it should slide off pretty easily since it's set up. And just look at how beautiful this cheesecake turned out. It was amazing. It's just so creamy and delicious. It has that light orange flavor, but you can still taste the original cheesecake flavor as well. And the flavors just blend perfectly. And then the real orange peel helps give it a little bit of a more orangey taste. I think you all will love this so much. But here we are slicing it. My husband was helping me take it off the pan. That way I wouldn't mess up the crust, while I was also trying to hold the camera to record us slicing it. But there it is. It was so good. We loved it. So I hope you all enjoy. Like and subscribe for more. Thanks.